Thank you, thank you. It's always such a pleasure and a deep privilege to occupy a platform like this. I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart because I believe this is a calling. So I do it for a higher purpose more than just a platform to share whatever, but it's like an extension of my soul, my spirit, and the work I was born to do. And today I was hoping, I'm very good with interactive stuff, and the exploration in the digital space has been quite interesting. So it's interesting that we've been speaking online this, online that, all of these years, and finally when it happens, it's like, I didn't mean it in this way, and it's here. Online is a reality, and this is how life is going forward. And it's hard to navigate this space. It's really hard to navigate the space where you are a parent, the home that you have built, that space, safe space that you call home, where you let loose, where you open up to life, where you're free, where I would right now be in my shorts and t-shirts and being outside and running around with the kids. Suddenly, with COVID-19 situation, this home became a workplace, and it's very, very challenging. And today I hope to have an interactive session somehow with you. I don't know how I'm going to achieve that, but we're going to try, and we'll use the Q&A section to do some of the things that are interactive. I'm going to ask you to please grab a pen and a paper and put it right next to you, so that some of the things, I'll give you time and you'll write down some of the things, you'll think through some of the things, and we'll think together and use some of the models together. But first and foremost, for those of you who are wondering who I am a mom of two and a wife of one, and I just turned 40. And my son is 8 years old, turning 9 in June, and my daughter is 6 years old, turning 7 in September. I love the Lord. I don't call myself religious, but I love the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm very spiritual. And my own, so I share my story using this activity that we use in workshops that I actually want to try it out with you.
Sorry to interrupt you. May I ask that you please put your presentation on presenter mode, because we can see the next slide.
Okay, so I think rather I'm gonna share it from here like that. Does that help?
We can still see your next slide.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna stop share and reshare, and also share computer science because I have some videos. And then, so I just click on play, and where's the presenter mode? Do you still see my next slide?
Yes, we do.
When I'm using PowerPoint, I don't experience this. Okay, let's just, I'm going to put my presentation on my secondary screen and run it from there. Is that still the case?
Yes, it's still the case.
Oh, okay, IT is gonna have to help me out here. Can you help me out, guys?
Hi, on your top right hand corner, there's a place where it shows you can switch the presenter view next to the X.
I usually get it, but this time I don't get it. I don't know why.
It's on top under the next slide, on top on the next to the X.
I can see it. Oh, it's because it was hidden by this picture. I see. It was hidden.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, but I don't want my presentation on my secondary slide, so on my secondary screen, otherwise I'm going to look down the whole time. So I'm going to switch them around again, and then we try it.
Great.
Did that work?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. So my 10 post-it note story. So yeah, I was saying that in the last 10 years, besides having 2 kids, having my husband, newly married, we got married, we just had an 11th year anniversary this year. I decided, and having a full-time job at the time I worked for the University of Cape Town, I decided to enroll full-time in a PhD. And also I was in a process of transitioning from being in IT into becoming a facilitator and an educator in the creativity and innovation space. So I was very interested in connecting to global bodies in the space of creativity and innovation. So I spent a chunk of my time sitting on boards in the US and working with few American companies and in Europe, and trying to create a global footprint in the area of creativity and innovation. So that happened in the 10 years. And then within that 10 years, I lost both of my parents. They passed. My very healthy mom one morning decided her heart was tired. I was 30 years old, and she woke up and she said her heart is tired. And within a couple of days, she was gone. And I was 30, that was before I had kids. And I enrolled in a PhD that year. And just as I was handing over my first draft of my thesis in 2015, 5 years later, the morning I was handing in my first draft, my dad died. Very healthy dad, very loving, very caring, very present. And so I went through these life circumstances of 10 years. I had a plan, and life happened, and parents were lost, kids were born. I was making a career change. And then the job at Henley Business School, which was extremely divine, a divine offering. I want to look at it as a gift from above, because it came at a perfect right time, and I was ready to make the move from living in Cape Town for 10 years and relocating to Johannesburg. And I have been in Johannesburg ever since in 2015. So all of this happened within 10 years. A family, job change, city change, global footprint, PhD eventually got finished after my dad's death, and then becoming this totally different creature than the IT programmer who used to do programming in the past. So now, just the beginning of this year, I decided I would like to just launch my company, The Alchemy Inspiration, and run it full-time while I'm still working with Henley Business School as a facilitator, as a program director, as a adjunct faculty member. So that is my 10 post-it note stories, significant things that happened in the last 40 years of my life that brought about significant changes, and choices that I made. I'm very clear about them, that has led me to who I am today. I want you to take a minute, 10 minutes, to just think about, what is your own post-it note story? What is your own story? Who are you? Just literally take 10 post-it notes. If you have, if you don't, you can do it on your workbook, 10 post-it note, and write 10 significant things that define who you are. So just like I did, I said I'm a mom of 2, so you can write that and put it down, or write it in your journal. And then write the second thing. Maybe you are a wife or a husband or a partner to someone, write it down. Take the second post-it note, the third one, write something about you. Maybe it's what you believe in, your value system, whatever informs that. Another post-it note, maybe it's something about your career. What do you do? Write something about that. Maybe you're an accountant or a programmer or a facilitator. Then, if you're studying something, maybe you're enrolled at Henley Business School. Maybe you're enrolled at Henley Business School doing an MBA, a PGD, or an executive program. And other significant events that have happened in your life. I've just shared about an event where I lost both of my parents. Maybe it's something that has happened in your life that drastically changed your life. And then maybe it's a change that happened somewhere. Maybe you also changed your career path at some point and decided, I'm going to transition from being a programmer to being a creative facilitator like me, or I decided to change from being operational to doing more strategic work, or life headed such that I would shift to a more strategic role in my life. And maybe something around where you work or who you work with, if you work or you own a company. Yeah, and then the last post-it note would be your 10th one. Write something around what inspires you, what keeps you going every day in your life. Write that down on a post-it note. Now that you have your 10 post-it note story, if you do want to share some of those insights, we would be delighted to know who you are. We have the Q&A tab in front of you. If you can just share a line with 2 or 3 things, so your name will display, and then you'll write a few things that you want to share about you, just to get to know who is in the room. So I'll get to see as you type in the Q&A tab. Right, Mamo?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So I want to see some information about you that you're comfortable to share with us, to get to know who is in the room. I would be delighted to see some of those trickling into the Q&A. Do you all see the tab? Mamo, you could model it out. Oh, I see Homozo. Lovely to meet you, Homozo. Tell us 1 or 2 or 3 things that you wrote on your post-it note. Lorato, business analyst manager. Lovely to meet you, Lorato. Homozo, 1 or 2 things about you. So you're welcome to share even beyond your title. Maybe you want to share about the one event that happened that in your life that significantly changed something in your life. So Homozo is a financial manager. Lovely to meet you. She's currently studying a PGD. Hi, Tess. Lovely to see you are here. If you could share something about you. Tabo. Disappointed, Comrade Rana. I'm so sorry. COVID-19. Oh, also an operations manager. Lovely to meet you, Thabo. Who else is there? If you don't interact with me, I won't share any more information with you. This is gonna be interactive. I wanna hear more. Claudia, lovely to meet you. HR business partner at Henley. Hello. Lorato is a mother of 2 like me, a boy and a girl. That is a PG dip. How are you managing, Lorato, with a boy and a girl in the house, and you also study and work? Yvonne, MBA at Henley, lovely to meet you. Tanya, mom of 3 in marketing, also studying at Henley. Nadia, wife and a mom of 3, client relationship manager, managing a team of 7 staff members. Sure. So you're managing the 3 at home and also having a whole team of people at work that you're managing. How are you managing? You gotta share some of those insights with us. Belinda, mother of 2 girls, facilitator, executive coach, and consultant. Lovely to meet you, Belinda. Claudia is a mother of 2 girls and works from home. Could tell us a whole lot more about working from home. And then we have Sizakele, who is a business manager, married with 3 kids, and also studying at Henley. Lovely, thank you. Khomotso is a father of a 12-year-old and a 3-year-old. Khomotso, how are you surviving? Because earlier on you said you're also a financial manager at City Meter Solutions, and you're also enrolled in a PGD, and you're also a dad of a 12-year-old girl and a 3-year-old boy. How are you surviving the homeschooling and the work and everything that's happening? You gotta share some insights with us. And then Joanna, program coordinator, lovely to see you here. And she started just as lockdown started on the 1st of April. Pierre, father of 4, CIO at Better Life, and married to the most amazing woman. She's gonna be amazing. Yeah, you need an amazing partner to handle the 4 kids and a CIO role. Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing. And Cleo is here, Executive Director at Boost Fellowship Trust, based in Zimbabwe. Lovely to see you here, Cleo. Mother of 3 and graduated from Henley in 2018. Lovely to meet you. And she's also an entrepreneur and a business consultant. All the way from Zimbabwe. Lovely to meet you, Cleo. Tobo, mother of 2 9 and 12-year-old, also an MBA student, turned 40 last week. Oh, you didn't have a party. Sorry, Tobo. We had a virtual party. Sorry, Tobo. When lockdown is over, we have to celebrate. I still have to make my party, 40th birthday party too. Khomotso trying to strike a balance between, okay, so Khomotso is giving us insight as a father of 2 and in a big role and also studying a PhD. He says, trying to strike a balance between working, monitoring my daughter on her schoolwork, while also entertaining the little guy who's 3 years old, remember? Oh, that's a lot. Thank you for engaging with me. It really means a lot. It makes a difference. It makes me feel like I'm not speaking to myself. And do you see the screen the right way, Mamo? Mamo?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. So I've just confirmed that I'm not the only one in this situation, yeah, where especially in COVID-19, where we are not sure whether we are coming or going and life is happening so fast. You are a mom, kids want your attention. The home, which was a place of comfort and letting loose, is suddenly become an office, and you're juggling so many roles at the same time. I have no idea what my kids had for lunch today. I didn't have that opportunity. It's one of the things that a mom is supposed to do. I'm guilty as ever. And at the same time, they're looking at me and thinking, how about the laundry? How about the cleanliness in the environment, the refreshments? Oh, and the homeschooling. The teachers are on WhatsApp sending us all sorts of schedules and all sorts of things that we should manage and educate these kids. I don't know how we're expected to manage right now in this COVID-19 situation. I don't know if you're like me and you're in a situation and you're like, I need help. But most importantly, the kids are in a position where they feel like they need help. My son feels like I've lost a mom, but I have a mom, or what's going on? Yesterday, I had a full day conference that Mamo is telling you about, and my son was desperately wanting even just a hug in the same house. And in fact, it's the day before where he wanted a hug, I was facilitating the whole time. And he went through the window, found that long pool thingy that you use to clean the pool, put in a piece of, wrote on a piece of paper, "Mom, I miss you. You said you'd be done. My office is upstairs." And he bashed the window upstairs in my office while I was teaching, opened it up, and this piece of paper flew into my room and it said, "Mom, I miss you. You said you'll be done by 3 o'clock. And it was 4 o'clock. I still had my students and I wouldn't let go until I had completed my assignment for the day. Kids are in that situation as well. They don't know what to do because they haven't been able to relate with us as working beings. They know us as, Mom is here, food. Mom is here, the space is clean, there's entertainment. We're gonna swim. Today I watched them swim through the window while I was busy with Accenture this morning, and Mom ain't gonna swim with us anytime soon. The same place, the same environment, the same space that used to represent comfort, Mommy is loving, Mommy is home. It's now a space where Mommy is stressed, under pressure, working so hard, and whatever she's doing for you. So I had to have quite a tough conversation with both of my kids 2 nights back. Because at first it was my daughter last week asking, "Mom, are you human?" You don't want that question from your child. I was sitting tired as ever after a whole day facilitation, and my child sits and says, "Are you human?" And I thought, this is my 6-year-old daughter who just asked me, "Are you human?" And my son yesterday evening said, "Do you love us or do you love your work?" And I had to sit and explain. I love you so much that I want you to have something to eat every day, and I want you to have a house, and I want you to stay in school, and that is achieved through work. I had to have a whole conversation and sit with them. So there's just a lot with this COVID-19 situation that is presenting to people who have accessed the opportunity of using virtual platforms, create new opportunities, and we're going to talk about that shortly. But then there's also a segment of the population which is wondering what to do. Yeah. The reality is millions of us South Africans and Africans are out there totally disconnected not having access and not being able to continue the work. Not just because we don't have access. Sometimes it's the strategy of our companies that wasn't ready to quickly jump into the virtual platforms and create an opportunity for people to continue to be engaged. So it's become very tricky. Now, what's interesting between the two, one might say they prefer to be here because you're being productive, you're making money, you're making it happen, life is continuing, your business is prospering. And this morning I was with the Accenture Enterprise and Supply Development Group, and most of them, well, maybe half of them are making it work, accessing the opportunities. All of them are own ICT businesses. So they're accessing opportunities. They're saying we're spending sleepless nights. These opportunities are all over. This is our season. Half of them are like, everything went into a pause. The big business that I had, the client went into a pause, and I actually don't have anything to do. And this morning we were exploring actually with a therapist and a psychologist. We were exploring that these people are actually in a better, might be in a more favorable position to stop, reflect, think deeply about life, and think deeply about what has happened, because life happens so fast that we forget to stop and think, is this what I wanted out of life in the first place? I hate it when I see all of these statistics that we grow up, we retain our 100% ability to have fun, laughter, creativity, curiosity and questioning. And as we grow up, the graph goes sharply down all the way to the bottom in our 40s, and it plateaus in the bottom, and then only at retirement we start to laugh again, to ask curious questions again, and to engage with life again, and to be creative again. I hate those stats, and I think this is the opportunity to really start to think and redefine certain things and say, what do we want out of life? What do we want out of the future? What happens when we just stop and we start to think? What are some of the new options that we can embrace and create new realities? And also, I want you to just be mindful of hyperconnectivity. Just be aware that right now, your devices are gathering so much data about you. They're just, every minute of the day is this hyper-connected life. It's a device gathering just lots and lots and lots of data about your patterns, what you do, everything that you get up to every single day. Now, we speak a lot about the fourth industrial revolution, and we talk about jobs that are declining and jobs that are emerging. When we look at a graph of jobs that are declining, those are the jobs that we can turn into algorithms, where we can then put a robot there and a machine there to execute that job even faster than you. So there's a chart that I'll show you later from the World Economic Forum that clearly shows you every job where we can take your algorithm, convert your job and create an algorithm, everything that's manual, that's programmable, we are going to teach it to a computer or a robot, and it's going to do it on your behalf. And those jobs are going to easily phase out. Millions of jobs will be lost through this revolution. And I won't even call it the fourth industrial revolution, because I feel like COVID-19 has created such a different and new reality altogether. And a new revolution, not just a reality. And then there are jobs that they are saying are growing, they're unlikely to be replaced. Top 3 jobs like that, according to the World Economic Forum, are number 1, the skills that will never be replaced are analytical thinking and innovation. The ability to think analytically and innovatively. The second one is learning, active learning and learning strategies. And the third one is creativity, originality, and initiative. And when I look at those 3, those are the 3 that the education system hasn't given us a lot of. Yeah. So when you just think about the learning itself, the construct of learning, we were never really taught in schools how to learn, but we were given a system where we were told this is how people learn, and we just went through this system of learning. Okay, taking information, resuscitate it back, taking information, resuscitate it back. The more accurately you do it, the more you become an A student, and then maybe at a degree and master's level, a bit of critical thinking, and only at PhD, you're supposed to add new knowledge, create something, only at that level. What kind of a schooling system is that? So we are in a state where we were never really given those skills that will position us for those future jobs based on the World Economic Forum report on skills of 2022. So we are not prepared for those jobs, but then the other jobs that we are doing on a daily basis, where a computer is collecting all of this information and it's turning into an algorithm, and you will return back to work and this job will be easily done by a program because it's capturing all of your information. Those are the jobs that we're educated for. So the invitation today is to think critically around, if you are in a state where you're not hyper-connected because your job didn't provide you your office didn't provide you an opportunity to use virtualization to be hyper-connected, the expectations are minimum at work. Start to think, instead of having this gap in your CV, start to reflect and think deeply around, how can I leverage this time to make me future ready, so that when this revolution happens for real, you have developed the 3 top critical skills, which is analytical thinking and innovation, active learning and learning strategies, and creativity, originality, and initiative. Those are the top 3 skills future skills that will help you in the future. So how about you look for other skills like coding skills, like 4IR skills, programming, and artificial intelligence, enrolling in all of these free courses that help you prepare for the future, rather than sitting back and saying, I don't have access. Now, when it comes to our kids, I want us to think quite deeply around what is happening with the pressure that around our kids. So you have job expectations, it's intense, you have deliverables from work, you have deadlines to meet. I have 1,000 things on my list right now. I have so many things to do. I have sessions that I'm running where I cannot be distracted at all. It's easy to just throw an iPad at a child, throw TV at a child, throw a gadget at a child and say, here, play whatever game, read something, do something, go watch movies, because it keeps them busy. It's easy to do that. I am guilty, and that's exactly what I used to do when my kids were much smaller and I was so uninformed. I used to just give my kids gadgets because they had iPads at 1 year old, both of them, each one would have an iPad, 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, to keep busy while mommy is doing her full-time job, PhD, global, whatnot, and traveling. And I had to learn the hard way when I started to observe the impact of that on the kids. And I started to expose myself, and I won't go through that content again because we went through it in the first family-friendly event last year around the impact of digital on the child. So I started to appreciate that it's much more important for your child to be in nature, to be outside, to absorb the sun, to play outside. Play is more educational to your child than you can ever imagine. And exercise. Kids, I never used to take my kids along when I thought exercising. At Virgin Active, I used to take them with me, and then they would be in the playroom playing while I'm doing serious exercises. I had to learn that kids also need to exercise and have to be play a part in my daily healthy routine, the healthy aspects of my routine. And now I do lots of gardening with my kids. In fact, when COVID-19 started, we started planting vegetables all over the garden, saying, we never know when it's gonna end and the shops are gonna close. And that's my little godchild helping us out as we were converting a little patch in the garden into a vegetable garden. And they love to do it. And it's better for them to be drawing, playing, absorbing the sun, exercising, gardening, and just being in nature than being in front of gadgets. My daughter likes to say, as she is told at her school, which doesn't allow any digital devices, she says, I don't want to sit there and watch a movie the whole time. My brain will become like a soup. She hates it. And they are taught like that at school, that media and digital devices make your brain to be like a soup. You won't learn how to think. You won't learn how to solve. You won't learn how to problem solve because you're constantly sitting and just absorbing media. It has a lot of negative impact on your children. So in this period, as much as you have to juggle and balance, just be mindful of how much do I expose my child to sunlight, to nature, to recreational activities, while we still make life to work. And I believe that this is the time to just stop and think about the life that we want to create going forward beyond COVID-19. I don't know, maybe you are like this person who's saying, I'm not sure how long I can cope with this. I can't continue to be on digital and have this overwhelming expectations from work, from life, from friends, from family, and then the fear of where COVID-19 is going and the lockdown and no physical content, and how much can we really wash these hands, really? Maybe you're just overwhelmed and you're at home and you're wondering, I can't. But the invitation is to shift and think deeply, and we convert this into a blessing and an opportunity, because the reality is that this COVID-19 situation is both a blessing and it's a curse. Yeah, this whole working from home situation is both a blessing in that we can be at home, no pressure of being in traffic, of doing whatever, and we can just do whatever we can do and be productive from home. But the curse of it is the type of presencing that you bring at home. Is it a healthy presencing or is it a toxic presencing? That's a big question that we have to think about, because that can, yes.
May I interrupt you? Sorry, while we think about your reflection question.
Yes.
I'm having people ask me if you are meant to be sharing your slides.
Yes, I'm happy to share them. I'll give you a download link.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want us to just stop and think really, really for a moment. If you are with your partner, maybe reflect with your partner at home. If you're alone, just take a piece of paper and do what we call a brain writing activity, and ask some really deep questions around what is work? Let's start with just the question of what is work? Yeah. And how have I worked in the last couple of weeks? Has it been a blessing or has it been a curse? To my family, you're not talking about your family. Of course, your boss has been saying you're amazing because you've been delivering. And that productivity and that satisfaction from a boss who have said, wow, you keep delivering. Like, I can give myself the biggest pat on the shoulder for delivery in this COVID-19 situation, because I've just been delivering excellently. But at home, I have created such, it's been so hard. It's been so different. I've had to ask deep, fundamental questions around life. Okay, how is this becoming a curse in this environment? And how can I create a shift? So I want you to just stop and deeply think about those questions, and then take a piece of paper and write down your answers to those questions. Take a piece of paper and write down for about 4 to 5 minutes, and I'll play a reflective music. So I'm going to stop sharing and write reflective music and play some reflective music here. I want you to think about just how have I manifested in this time? How have I been to my family? How have I been to my daughter, to my son, to my partner, to my husband, or to my wife? And just jot down a couple of things, and then we'll get to share in the Q&A. I'm going to share my reflective music with you as you think. So for about 4 minutes, just think through how you have showed up for your family, to your partner, to your child. How have you shown up? 1 minute, and then great.
Dr. P, before you continue, please share your slides. We haven't been seeing anything in the past 30 minutes.
Are you for real? Was it just my screen?
Yeah,
Really?
it's just your beautiful face. And that's it. There we go. Now we can see them.
Now you can see my slides.
Yes.
All the time you didn't see you were not looking at my slides. I'm so sorry. Can you now see them? Mamo? Mamo? Hello? Okay, I'm just going to post a question. Mamo? Njabulo?
Hi, Dr. Puleng.
Can you now see my slides?
Now we can see them.
Yes, we can see your slides.
Oh, okay. I deeply apologize for that. All this time, I thought everybody can see my slides. I really, really apologize for that. I wonder if I shouldn't run through them again, but then I think the message was delivered, isn't it? I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So I want to now engage with you, not around the slides, but around what you have reflected. I would like you to pop into the Q&A section. Just share with me some of the things that went through your mind as you thought about the quality of engagement that you have had at home in this period, your level of presencing. Please share with me some few thoughts and what went on in your reflection. Everyone, please just grab the Q&A, send as many thoughts as you want to share. I'll deeply appreciate. In the Q&A section, I'm looking because I want to just see some of your reflections. In fact, I'm gonna, yeah. Emotional roller coaster. Claudia says, what an emotional roller coaster. I feel you totally, totally. I managed to create time to meditate, connected with my inner being, and to embrace my self-worth. That's Oma. And I thank you so deeply, Oma, for sharing, because I think this is something that some of us are depriving ourselves of. The quality time, the ability to just step out of that roller coaster and meditate and just think and connect with your inner being and embrace your self-worth. And then we have Homozo says, I've been able to work on essential tasks without being disturbed. I like that, Homozo. The important thing is without being disturbed. I like that. I wonder how some of you, when it comes to disturbed, yesterday I had quite a moment with my child. I was giving finally out of the 12 international speakers from 8 in the morning to 9 in the evening. I had my lunchtime slot. The only 1 hour that I had to deliver my talk, my son walked into my office right at the end of my talk. And I gave him a hand like, don't even come close. I'm in a webinar and it's been recorded and I have an international audience. And then he just went around the desk and sat on a webinar with me like this and decided to just be stubborn. And I was like, please don't spoil the moment for me. But I very soon realized that I have to improve the quality of my presence at home, and anybody who has come with work into my home has to embrace that this is a home with other individuals. So it's interesting that it was important for you, Khomotso, that you are not being disturbed. And then Lorato says, I'm guilty of throwing gadgets on my kids to keep busy while I'm busy at work. Lorato, trust me, I'm sure that's 80% or 90% of parents. And we don't have to feel guilty about it. The thing is, we gotta stop, reflect, do it differently. And by the end of this webinar, make a decision of where we wanna go, how we wanna go forward with our lives. Claudia says, my partner says it's been intrusive. Claudia, I share your sentiments. I have been in the same situation where it's like you bring in your energy, your work energy here, and it's how it is. Blessed to be around my wife and spend more time deepening our relationship, helping and being truly fully present during the pregnancy. She has a better glimpse of my world, and I too. I love it. Thank you, Vusi, for sharing. Pia says, fear-driven performance at work to prove my worth and spending far more time working and little time for connection with the family. I feel you, Pia. I'm sure that makes a big percentage of people sitting here. Loretta says, I'm struggling to deal with my new normal, and mostly because I cannot put on my techies and go for a run. We're all feeling it. It's here and it's happening and it's around us, and all of those sentiments that you share, I share. I totally share with you. And, you know, Pierre, to your point about that fear-driven performance at work to prove your worth, I'm sure that's a feeling of 90% of the workforce that has been given gadgets. Now it's like you have gadgets, you better deliver, and you are probably over-delivering because we want to be driven and we want to be seen as productive. We want, when that paycheck comes at the end of the month, you better deserve it. You better have earned your stripes. And it's a natural feeling that all of us are feeling in this COVID-19 situation. And oh, I have two more that I really want to read. Tanya says, I have given them more access to digital than I normally would in order to fit everything in, but we have a schedule that allows for outside time, homeschooling, working, and while sometimes stressful, I think this time has allowed us to get to know each other better and connect more. Wish it could be less work and more time together. I totally appreciate that, Tanya, and thank you for sharing. I have a slide to that point that I want to share with you about schedule. Just give me a moment.
Dr. P, while you find the slide, Terry shared earlier, she said, my initial 3 weeks were very well balanced, but it's hitting hard now. Work is taking a little bit of a back seat right now as I feel the necessity to take a breath.
Yeah.
Terry shared this a bit earlier.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Thanks for sharing. And, you know, I just want to talk about this. I'll just jump to a different slide that I wasn't intending to share because of the time factor. To say, part of the wisdom that I found with working from home, can you see my screen? Mamo?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
So part of the wisdom that I wanted to share today before we go into some deeper work around visioning is, please, let's make sure that you as an individual, as a parent, as a worker, as an employee, as a business owner, do not stray away from your schedule. So the same way that you woke up at whatever time, you did gym at whatever time, you bathed at whatever time, possibly even I've been advising a couple of ladies that let's dress it up, let's do makeup, let's do it as if we're going to the office in the morning. I do that. I wake up at 6:30. My kids and my husband, I explain that just take it as if I'm going to work because this is the new reality. I have to deliver, but for me to deliver, I should have spent that 30 minutes in the morning with my friend on the phone praying. I should have spent that time exercising, and then I should have washed, and then I have to go into the office upstairs and work, and I have to dress it up. I have to feel good. I have to feel like I am going to work, I'm going to engage. It creates something in my mental space too. When I get into this space, into this office, I want to do my meetings here. So at the beginning, I was tempted to grab my laptop, lie down on the bed and do a virtual screen that where nobody will know that I'm just lying down on the bed and there's a thing in the background, and pop in a jersey of some sort, or just be casual about it. At first, I was quite casual about it. Then I quickly learned that it's depleting my energy and it's messing up the mojo of the family, because my kids see me in spaces where they would see me in my bedroom, but they can't cuddle me because I'm on a Skype call doing business. What's going on? They can't even come close to me, yet we're in a bedroom. Or I'm in a lounge and have my screen and I'm like, please don't come in. No, this is the space that we associate with relaxation and being together. What do you mean don't come in and don't make noise? I'm in a Skype, I'm in a webinar. We had this 21-day webinar certainly. I loved to watch them every day at 11. But then again, I would just grab my gadget and watch them in the midst of my kids. They associated that with something that they don't want because I'm always on a gadget. But when I'm in my office, I'm in the office. As soon as I get out, I'm a different person. I'm in the kitchen, I'm in the lounge, I'm playing, I'm doing stuff with them. But when I get into the office, this is where I do serious stuff. I want to look the part. I want to feel like this is now what I'm doing and this is what I'm up to. Then at lunch, when I go downstairs to be with them, I engage, we're playing, we're cooking, we're doing whatnot. 2 o'clock, mommy's going back to the office. So this week I had to get them into their own strict schedule as if they're also at school. Wake up, wash, dress up as if you're going to school, and follow through your schoolwork. And Daddy has been very hands-on in helping me facilitate that. And then it's break time and it's lunch time. So we're keeping the similar schedule that they have at their school. I'm keeping my similar schedule as I would have when I was working full time, which I have deployed to as I work and run my own company. So that pattern is it's so, let's not compromise it whatever we do. So if we wake up until 3 or 4 o'clock, let it be that. When you shut down, shut down. And when you shut down, remove the gadgets from your presence. So the one thing that we learned last year when we took our kids to a school where they're not allowed to use digital, it changed us because they came back and said, why are you on your gadget when you said we shouldn't be on gadgets? Why are you Hello, Mamo.
Hi, Dr. P, you're back now.
Yeah, sorry, I just got totally disconnected even from technology. I don't know why. Everybody can hear me now. I can share my screen again.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. So anyway, I just want to finish my point around keeping to your daily schedule. That is helpful. Please don't compromise it no matter what. Keep on with your daily schedule as you do, because as soon as the kids go back to work, they will struggle to get back into the routine and pattern. The school system is made up like that for a reason, because even at birth, once your child comes into the earth, I used to read a lot of books. Behind me is a whole pile of books that I love to read around parenting. They tell you that the child feels secure when they have a schedule. So even when you're breastfeeding, they say your child must have a schedule. Even when there must be feeding times, feed them at the same time every day, so that their body gets used to it. They have a time clock. Don't compromise that. The school system, the school schedule is designed like that for a reason. When we get them out of that schedule, we compromise them. And by the time they go back to school, it's going to take a while for them to switch back again. So whatever you do, please make sure that you don't tamper with their schedule and also with your own personal schedule. Keep the energy generated. It's your responsibility to generate that energy. Now, I want to share, because I can see that time is moving, about my own views about COVID-19 and how you can use it as an individual, as a parent who studies, who works, who has everything, now to create a longer term vision rather than a short term vision. So I decided to, a couple of weeks back when Henley asked me to do the 21 lessons around COVID-19, I said, what if we could reframe this COVID-19 situation? I had entitled my talk, COVID-19, a blessing and a curse. A blessing because we have time to stop, to reflect, to think, to redefine life and do it differently. And a curse because of all the devastating effects that are happening. But if we were to reframe and let it be a blessing into your life, I started to think, what if it was an acronym for something that helped us to grow, helped us to emerge strong as a community, as a unit, as families, as a country, as a continent, and as the world. So I said, what if C was about innovation that is brought by the collision of industries? Just yesterday, I tested something, a thought that I had. I said, it's World Creativity and Innovation Day. What is it that I can do on this day that can potentially reach hundreds of people and inspire them and spread my positive energy? And then I decided I want to run a creativity conference. Do I have experience and for running events? No. Technology, yes, I know technology, but I would need a dedicated technology partner. I went out there, found an event company, found a technology company, and I said, I have this event. I'm doing it to spread positive energy. There's no financial return to it. Can you help me? Do you want to spread love and positive energy through 12 international speakers? And we got together. Over the weekend, we worked day and night, and we allowed this powerful creativity virtual conference to emerge, which is now not only going to be a once-off event, but a regular event, which attracted 6 speakers from the US, 3 from Europe, and 4 from South Africa. People offered of their time to say, we want to give and share skills to unleash, methodologies and skills and tools to unleash creativity. Now, this coalition of 3 different industries, I'm about design thinking and creativity. The IT company, the events company, has now emerged a course that can now exist on its own. And it's now a mission that we're going to pursue, we will monetize, and it's become a thing of its own that will continue. That has definitely generated a hope and an income stream for the events company, hope and an income stream for this small tech company, and something for my own company as well. Now we have seen a birth of something different, which wasn't there before. And accessing those opportunities, taking them, prototyping and trying something very quickly. Because right now, yes, you might fail. I could have failed yesterday, and thankfully I didn't fail. But I prototyped something fast, presented it to the market quickly. Yes, thankfully it succeeded, but even if it failed, there wouldn't be a lot of penalty for failing, because people didn't have to pay for it. So no one would accuse me that I paid for this and it didn't deliver. So what are some of those opportunities that you can access right now in the moment? This is now going to be a leg of my company, something that I never really imagined before. But I have allowed this collision of industries to actually create something that has led to an opportunity. Now that opportunity has become a vision. Yeah. Now we have a vision with this events company, with this IT company, to spread the message of creativity and innovation to the world. We have democratized the access to these particular speakers. We have demonetized that space completely. And now everybody can have access to all of this information. We have a new vision, and we want this inspiration to trickle into many households. Every person who came back and wrote me long messages to say, we were inspired, hope came back, you gave us tools to use. It felt good. It has led us to create a new vision for our organizations, and also coming out of COVID-19, a vision that we will pursue as part of this initiative. And Ikigai, this is where I want to spend the next 15 minutes of my time with you, because I want to go deeper with you in thinking about Ikigai, which really means a place of an intersection between what you're passionate about and what you're good at, what you're skilled at, and what organizations or the world need and what they're willing to pay for. If you find that sweet spot in the middle, you will unleash your creator's potential. So you'll stop working because you are manifesting rather than working. Now, I'll tell you what, this creates a different energy as well. I was saying recently to my husband that I am so deeply grateful that the work I do gives me energy. It doesn't take it away. So when my kids see me working, even though I'm at home, they see me smiling, jumping, doing all sorts of things, and I'm expressing such positivity in the house because I'm doing something that I love and I'm passionate about. And then lastly, the D is becoming diversions. How can this COVID-19 situation give us the ability to become divergent and open individuals? So we said the 19 is, what is that 1% shift that can give you a shift, an edge into 2020? And I just want to share with you the Ikigai. So I'm going to skip all of this because I want us to go to the 1% with the little time that we have. Go straight to the 1% that is going to, I believe, is going to give us an edge into the 90%, into the into 2020. So I want to speak about the power of self-awareness in you as a leader. The key to growth is the introduction of a higher dimension of consciousness into our awareness. I love this quote, and I would like us to use the next 15 minutes to just explore this concept together. So Ikigai, which is the I that I'm saying, let's be selfish about COVID. Take the I. The I is the only one that's selfish because it talks to you as an individual. And you start to think about what is it that you are good at? What are the things that you are really good at? What are the things that you love to do? And then start to think about what is it that the industry needs and what is it that the world is willing to pay for. And then you find that place in the center. But it starts with a deeper reflection inside of you around what is the story of your life that makes you you. Awareness is the greatest agent of change. I like that quote. So this COVID-19 situation, you can use it to think so deeply about your life as an individual and say, what is my story? Why am I here? What is my purpose? What is it that I want out of life? What is the story that has brought me here, whether I'm turning 40 or 50? What is the pattern in my life? Think deeply and think beneath the iceberg. So go beyond the skills. When I led you through the 10 post-it notes exercise, I was saying, go beyond just the skills and the knowledge. That's your education. Those are the skills that you express at work. Go deeper into thinking about your values, your self-image, your traits, your belief system, your motives, what energizes you as a person. Pause, think deeply around these things. Capture them down. Use this COVID-19 situation. This morning I was saying to my Accenture delegates that please get your reflective journals and every day write something in that journal. So I'm going to give you a set of things that you can start to write down in your journal that are going to help you. So the first one I said is, what is your story? The story of your life. We're not going to get to do it within the webinar, but I want you to write it down and then you'll do it as an exercise on your own. As you think about the story that makes you you, go deeper. More than an accountant, more than a CIO, more than a programmer, there's got to be a lot behind that. Pause, think deeply around this. Then start to think about your current reality that unsettles you. What is it that unsettles you in your, so think before COVID-19, think about work, think about your life, think about your family, think about your career path, think about who you wanted to be when you grow up and what you have become now. Find that thing that just doesn't settle, that doesn't make you comfortable, that brings discomfort. Now, for me, this was 13 years back when I realized that I was asked a question, how much of you is welcome at work? And I paused and I thought deeply about that question, and I realized only 10% of me is welcome at work and only 10% of me gets utilized at work. And I decided, well, if I'm 27 years old and I think I bring only 10% of myself at work, then that means that I'll be 60 years old and I'll look back and I will be a redundant product because 40 hours of my time, which is Monday to Friday at work, I would have spent them using only 10% of me. So I decided to stop, to think, and said, when I'm 60, I want to look back and say, I used 100% of myself at work and in everything. And you might be wondering, what is the 100%? At work, you bring your skills, you bring your knowledge, you bring your experience, but you could bring more. You could bring your energy, you could bring your values, you could bring your image, you could bring your personality, you could bring your imagination, you could bring so much more of you. And that's what I wanted to bring. And that's the future work that I wanted to create for myself. So then in this moment of self-awareness, I thought, wow, this awareness is giving me a capacity to learn from my mistakes as well as my successes, and it's enabling me in this point to keep growing. So I stopped and I paused and I said, okay, how do I allow this now to make me grow, to allow me to expand and to grow? And then I wrote a future profile of myself. So a full page of 10 years from now, who do I want to be known as? So you write that entire profile and say, it could be 5 years from now, it could be 10 years from now. Maybe it's at the end of COVID-19. It's too close, so don't set yourself for disappointment. Give yourself 2 years, 3 years. How do I want to be known? So I was 30 years old when I wrote my future profile. I was 30 years old, and I remember writing things that were totally unimaginable of who I will be at 40. At the time, I was a programmer. Nobody knew me. I'd only traveled 3 countries in the world, believe it or not. And there I was writing, firstly, I'll be Dr. Pulema Khadibe. I'll be a world-known expert in the field. I would have traveled 40 countries when I'm 40. I would be this, I would have my choices, I would do life differently. This is the kind of mom that I will be, and this is the kind of wife that I would be. And I wrote all of these things that sounded totally unreal at that time compared to where I was. But it created a vision. Yeah, awareness is all about restoring your freedom to choose what you want instead of your past, what your past imposes on you. So when I wrote this, I didn't think about my past, I thought about my future. I used my imagination. And so I'm going to invite you to write down these questions on your own beyond this webinar. This is a journey to your ikigai, to finding that sweet spot in the center around doing what you're passionate about and doing something that the world is willing to pay for it and the world needs, and you're skilled at it. So now that you have your future profile, and remember, awareness precedes choice and choice precedes results. I want to now share my story. And I said, I thought about a moment when I took this picture, which was last year at the beginning. This is in an Accenture design session, and it was taken by a photographer. And when I got this picture, a moment hit inside of me that, oh my goodness, this is how expressive I get when I'm facilitating, when I'm training. I bring 100% of me, probably 200% of me, or 3,000% of me, because I lose myself in that space. I love it. And I said, I'm 40 and I have achieved that which I wrote in my future profile when I was 30. 10 years later, this was my reality. Now, what else did I do after writing the future profile? You write a list of things that say, what stops me from achieving this dream, this profile? What would stop me? What limitations do I have that threaten this person that I want to be in the future? Yeah, the first step towards change is awareness, and the second one is acceptance. So let me tell you a story. As soon as I had finished, and it was 2010, just turned 30 and excited, and my mom passed away. It was tough. Then I decide to go on a fast seeking where I want to be, the future. I write this future profile of myself and create a new vision. And I spent 40 days just writing this vision, and I finished. And I said, the first step is to enroll in a PhD. And I'm excited about enrolling in a PhD towards this vision that I've set for myself. Then I discovered that I'm pregnant just after enrolled in the PhD in 2010. And the first thing, I worked at UCT in an academic environment at that time. And people said, you can't pursue a PhD and work full-time and have a child, and you're in Cape Town, you don't even have help. So the first reality I had to confront was my circumstances, that they were saying you have to choose between a PhD and the child. You're not gonna be able to juggle everything at once. So it's as if I had to, and I decided, no, I don't have to choose. I want it all. I have a future profile, I've written it down. The fact that you write it down, you make a commitment to it. And that commitment stays. You have announced it to the universe. It's your commitment. So because I made that commitment, I said, I also don't want to be an absent mom. I don't want to be the type of mom where my kids always see me on the laptop typing my thesis away. How am I going to juggle it? So I decided I'll go to work. When I come back from work, I will cook. I will be with my family. My kids and my husband will never see me on a computer, ever. And I'll sleep with everybody. After eating, we pray with my family. We all sleep at 8 o'clock. But 2 a.m. every night for 5 years, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., I would wake up, I would do my thesis, PhD thesis, I would work, then go back to sleep at 5, wake up with everybody at 6 o'clock. Nobody knows what happened at night. And I lived like that for 6 years. It was a schedule that I knew will serve my family, will serve my ambitions, will serve my marriage and my children, most importantly. And that was the commitment that I made. And I realized that if I don't make that commitment, no one is gonna make it for me. So please write those down and face your realities and be real. Be real about those realities. Self-awareness is the ability to take an honest look at your life without any attachment to it, to being right or to being wrong or bad or good. Now, the next question, and we're coming towards the end. What is my role in making my dream a reality? Have a plan. You must have a plan, because if you are without a plan, then nothing is going to happen. We cannot change what we are not aware of. And once we are aware of it, we cannot help but change it. So now you have to decide, just like I said, I decided I had to be clear about how am I going to make it work in a way that it works within my context. Now, the last slide that I want to just put out there is this one, where it says humility is not about having a low self-image or a poor self-esteem. Humility is about self-awareness. And my invitation to you is this journey of uncovering self, finding self, having a vision for yourself. Some people look at it as it's selfish. Your vision should be being a good mom or being a good wife or good husband and all of those things. Of course, it should be that, but kids will grow and live, and life happens. At the end of the day, you'll only have the grave in front of you and only you and your creator. So it's important for you, in the midst of everything that is happening, to give yourself a break, to stop. Use this COVID-19 situation to stop and think deeply about your own personal life and your place of happiness, your place of impact, your place in the world, and your purpose, and pursue that with everything that is in you in the midst of your circumstances. I hope within this short time that I had with you, I was able to share some questions that will lead you to deeply reflect and pursue your higher self and your higher calling in the midst of everything that's happening. And also some practical tools around managing your current circumstances in the midst of being a mom and a dad and having a full-time job and also having ambitions. Thank you. Mamo, it's 4:30 on the dot. I have to respect your time.
Thank you so much, Dr. P. Thank you very much for such an insightful session. Yeah, gosh, it's really about finding that ikigai, and you've given us a lot of work, a lot of self-work to go home, well, back into our safe space and start journaling what it is that we want to do for the rest of our lives. I think more than anything, COVID has really just reinforced the fact that we need to live on purpose and really stick to our purpose. So thank you so much. And to everyone that joined us today, remember that this is part 1 and we're going to have part 2 on the 6th of May. So do join us on the 6th of May for this. And to close out, we've got our Dean and Director, John Foster Pedley, who really engineered the Henley family friendly and feels strongly and passionately about managing not just our study lives, but also work life and school life and everything that comes with just us being human. So over to you, John, and then we'll close out.
Okay.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lang. Wonderful. It's been amazing. Thank you, Mamo. In fact, I think about a quarter day. And so I thought, well, that's a bit coincidental. And so I went to see the business school and said, do you think the MBA had anything to do with it? And they said, well, not really. I think it's just one of those things. You know, and I thought to myself, well, I'm pretty sure that the pressure the families got put under in that MBA was a lot to do with the breakups. And I thought to myself that they could probably have done more. So I thought that if ever I was in a position to do something about it, we try and change the tables a bit. Instead of saying to people, you must put your family on the back burner, we would say to the educators, surely you're smart enough to create education that doesn't damage families, doesn't damage relationships with children, helps you build the fabric of social life, which is a family and partnerships and children. And maybe we could try and do something better. So since that time, been trying to get do a program which helps the partners, whether they have children or not, come in beforehand and talk about how study is and what the pressures it puts on people, how you could anticipate, how you can converse about that, how you can reframe it and see as a way to build up your future. It's always going to be tough to do, but by creating flexible learning, by talking to the community as a whole, we can perhaps make learning a more social and responsible act. And so part of our ethos at Henley is to do just that, is to try and work with the students, our learners, our educators, and the partners, and try and bring the children into it, and understand that we're trying to produce leaders. And that is as much goes for me as anybody else. And there's no way that I'm not a dire sinner in this respect. I absolutely am, and I have to continue to learn and improve. We try and produce leaders who anticipated their position in society and their career progress wasn't a consequence of damage in the family, that we try and bring everybody along and see what we could learn in a way. Now, we don't have the answers. It's an experiment. It's a long experiment now, about 8 years now. We're trying to make it better and better. We have more and more people getting involved and more advice. And I hope we will be able to make education that's humane, lifelong and helpful. So That's all I have to say. And thank you very much for attending. You are very precious to us as the community we are working with. Our aim is to build a people who build the businesses that build Africa. And right now, that's really important, especially as we're facing considerable issues with COVID. It's going to be tough, very tough going forward, but there will be a rebound. We're looking at a potential decrease, negative GDP growth around 6% this year, but rebounding perhaps, according to some projections, to 4% plus next year. So it'll go down and up. And then the rebound, where everything's activated again, will be quite an energetic response to these hard periods we're going through now. So let's work together, learn from each other, and thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, John. Thank you, Puleng, and thank you, Njabulo, Graham, and everyone that attended. See you everyone on the 6th of May.
Thank you. And might I just say that please do your assignment, because part 2 will be a follow-up on the work that you would have done on the reflections. Thank you. Thank you, John, for creating this opportunity.
Well, thank you, Puleng, for seizing it and taking it further.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.